Hey, what's up guys, it's me your boy Oraban Castic Kevinish back here with another brand new video and I hope you guys are having a great day. So we are here back for the Monaco Grand Prix review. So without any further ado, let's get right into the video guys. So well, this year's race was rather interesting to watch. The quali was just box office to witness and the race was also pretty interesting compared to the normal Monaco GP that we are used to. So with a lot of wall clipping from drivers all through the weekend, mistakes from Lewis Hamilton in FP3 and Sergio Perez's mistake in Q1 in qualifying causing him expensive this weekend. Well, there's a lot to unpack, so let's get right into the video guys. So let's start off with Sergio Perez. Well, Sergio Perez made a very uncharacteristic mistake in quali, costing him the entire race, not being able to make any moves in the race. Lot of run-ins with other drivers. I think he boxed at least like 5 times, and overall a weekend for him to forget. On the other side of the garage, a very dominating performance from Max yet again, snatching pole from Fernando Alonso with a staggering final sector in Q3 on his final lap, led the race from start to finish. I mean, what to say, a flawless drive. And just witnessing Max's race and his performance this year, it's almost scary to witness what else he has on offer. I guess we just have to wait and watch for that. So one side of the garage, it was great, and the other side of the garage was just misery for Red Bull. So it's a bittersweet weekend for Red Bull Racing. A weekend I'm sure that if Sergio Perez had hooked up a lap and not had made the mistake that he did in Q1, I'm sure that Red Bull would have locked out the front row, and it would have been another 1-2 for Red Bull in Monaco. But what happened was just unfortunate, and that mistake was surely Sergio Perez's error. And again, I don't think there's any excuse for that either. So moving on to Aston Martin. Well, Aston Martin faced a very similar fate to Red Bull. One car qualifying in the front row and another one in P14 knocked out in Q2. A weekend that is bittersweet for Aston Martin as well. Fernando Alonso managed to finish in the position that he started from, finishing P2, and Lance Stroll DNFing from the race. A brilliant drive from Fernando as usual, and another weekend to forget for Stroll. 2 consecutive non-points finish for Stroll on what is the second best car on the grid. Stroll needs to really up his game, or else he is right now, as I'm making this video, and would be the limiting factor for Aston Martin to secure second place in the Constructors' Championship, as Mercedes is just 1 point away from snatching P2 from Aston Martin in the Constructors' Championship. So moving on to the Alpines. Well, Alpine had a brilliant weekend in Monaco this year, with both the cars finishing in the points, with Esteban Ocon driving brilliantly well to fend off Carlos Sainz and Lewis Hamilton to finish P3 to take the last step of the podium. Truly a lap that is brilliantly threaded in Q3 and a remarkable drive in the race as well. On Gasly's side of the garage, it is a good weekend as well, starting P7 and finishing P7 as well on a track that is so hard to overtake. It's a good job to even hold position, and Pierre has done just that. With both the cars finishing ahead of the McLarens, Alpines have brought a sizable gap to McLaren in the Constructors' Championship. So now moving on to McLaren. McLaren's had a decent weekend. I personally expected them to have another horrible weekend here in Monaco, but it was the other way around. With both the cars finishing in the points, McLaren can feel happy leaving Monaco that with the special livery they managed to score double points in Monaco. Lando, after clipping the wall in Q2 and getting hindered on his hot lap in Q3 by Charles, I think it was a decent recovery from him to finish P9 and Oscar Piastri to finish P10, last of the points position. So moving on to Mercedes. Well, Mercedes had brought their long pending upgrade to Monaco, and finally the Merc looks like a 2022 spec F1 car. The car looked great and it also performed equally well, Lewis seemed to have been struggling during the quali session to tie in a lap to secure a spot in the top 10, but as usual he managed to qualify P5, out-qualifying his teammate when it absolutely mattered the most. With Russell though qualifying P8, both the cars managed to outrace the Ferraris to finish P4 and P5 after the mid-race rain that really spiced up the race. I'm excited to see how the new upgrades work on the W14 as we get to Spain. So moving on to Ferrari. Well, Ferrari had a below average weekend in my opinion in Monaco. Charles Leclerc, as we all thought, was struck again by bad luck. After qualifying brilliantly P3, got a 3-place grid penalty for impeding Lando Norris's car on a hot lap. So with Charles starting P6, teammate Carlos Sainz started from P4 in the race. However, Sainz, in the name of trying to pressurize Ocon to make mistake, did a mistake himself by running into the back of him, breaking the end plate of his front wing, and all through the dry tire stint he failed to get past Ocon. And when the rain started to pour, Sainz on the dry compound slid off the track, losing positions mainly to his teammate. In the wet tire stint, he got demoted after the team having to double stack for the intermediate tire change. From there on, being stuck behind the other Alpine of Pierre Gasly to climb P8 at the checker flag, with the teammate Charles Leclerc finishing in P6. So overall, a below average weekend for Ferrari, and Carlos seemed to be the driver that was the most frustrated of the two this weekend with the team. So moving on to Williams. Williams though, it was a tough weekend as I thought, as they were lingering just in the fringes of points with Alex as he started the race P13 and finished the race P14, a commendable effort from him. On the other side of the garage though, with Logan Sargent qualifying P16, which is a good effort as well considering he's in his rookie year, and finished the race P18 with having one too many pit stops. A tough weekend for Williams to process, as considering that Monaco not being a track that really suits their car this year, they were still in the cusp of points. But even with the rain mid-race, it didn't really help the teams that have the pace deficit to enter the points paying positions. For Alfa Romeo on the other hand, starting P15 with Bottas and P19 with Zhou Guanyu, they made brilliant inroads to finish the race with both the cars in the top 15, with Bottas finishing P11 just a place behind the last points paying position, and Zhou finishing the race P13, a good impressionable performance from Alfa Romeo. Considering that Bottas was stuck behind the AlphaTauri of De Vries in the first stint in the dry tire, not being able to make a pass on him really did compromise Bottas's progress in the race. On the whole, Alfa Romeo could be happy with the weekend that they had in Monaco with both the cars. Talking about AlphaTauri, well, it's a bitter weekend for AlphaTauri as well, with Yuki Tsunoda starting P9, had a good race until he locked up and slid off the track, losing position to finish P15, and De Vries having one of his best qualifying sessions in his 2023 season campaign, qualifying P12 and finishing the race P12 as well. Though assessing his race pace around Monaco is hard, I can definitely notice that he has made an improvement in his one lap pace to qualify P12, as more than ever in Monaco in the recent years, it is crucial to thread in a brilliant lap in quali to have a good race result, as it's harder than ever now to overtake around Monaco with these boat-like sized cars. So overall, a bitter weekend for AlphaTauri, as they could have finished in the points with at least Yuki. Well, finally, let's talk about Haas. Well, they had a abysmal weekend in Monaco with both Magnussen and Hülkenberg qualifying P17 and P18. They certainly did well in the first stint in the dry compounds, but as the rain struck, the Haas strategical calls were nothing shy of shameful, with leaving Kevin Magnussen to dry in the rain on a worn hard compound, finally retiring him of the race after doing again one too many pit stops with him, with Hülkenberg not bringing any better result than P17, just a position above Logan Sargent, and the P17 was because Lance Stroll and Kevin Magnussen had to retire from the race. So a shameful and a weekend for Haas to forget. I expected a lot from them with their new driver Dio this year, but this was nothing shy of being shocking. So that is my race review, and overall I would rate the 2023 Monaco GP a 3.5 out of 5. The qualifying was absolute box office to watch. The race too, though, was not the most interesting race of the season so far. The rain definitely did create some chaos, which some of the back market teams just did not capitalize on, to my disappointment. There were more overtakes and action in Monaco this season compared to 2022, so I would say this year the Monaco GP was actually fun to watch all through the weekend. So yeah, that is my 2023 Monaco Grand Prix review, guys. I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know in the comments on what you thought of the race and the overall weekend in Monaco. With that being said, I would like to wrap up this video, guys. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, make sure that thumbs up button, and don't forget to subscribe to the Autobahn Cast YouTube channel if you haven't already, and also hit that bell icon and turn on all notifications so you get notified whenever I upload a brand new video. It's me, your boy Autobahn Cast, Vinesh, and I'm out. Love you guys. Stay safe. Peace.